Welcome to the match replay of the GWS Giants up against the Sydney Swans. Round one from ANZ Stadium. And the young team, still young, but entering their second season with a little bit more experience. Nonetheless, they've unveiled the #1 draft, Lachie, Whitfield, a strong young forward line led by Cameron and Patton. And a lot of interest to see how they would fare against the reigning premiers first up in the game, billed as the Battle of the Bridge. Armstrong named as the sub for the Sydney Swans. Only 2 premiership players missing from the Swans lineup, though it was considered that the Swans were a little bit underdone coming in, which meant that the game could well be close. Let's find out how they fared. Let's head to the opening bounce. Let's get underway then from ANZ Stadium. And Big Dean Brogan doing battle against Mumford. Cornelio came charging through, and there's Rampe getting it inside to Pike, who might have got himself a free here.
I think the other thing too, Hutto, is Adam Good starting in the middle of the ground. Probably most people would have thought maybe this year more forward, but that's a big statement by John Longo to say, no, we're going to get our premier dual Brownlow medalist to start the game in the middle of the ground.
Well, it is a Giants home game, but there's plenty of Sydney Swans fans, and a lot of them are camped down at this end, so they will give a huge reception to Mike Pike. What a grand final he played, and he drives it through. The opening salvo to the Swans. We saw the kicking efficiencies there, which are very low. There's just so much congestion. Makes life particularly difficult to hit a target, and we're finding that time and time again. Richards on the end of the Hoskin-Elliott clearance. And was very nimble to bring it back into Shaw. He was about to be hunted, so sensing that he goes for McVeigh versus Hampton. McVeigh with the experience, but Hampton was able to stay upright, and so too was his assistants in Gillum. But it ends with Kennedy, and Kennedy might just show them how to do it. He leads by example so many times, and he does again. Where the footy is now, we can see firsthand, Rosie, and Moons, you can see it down there. They're just scrapping hard, aren't they?
I mean, this is the danger period we saw last year, Dan. It really was that 20-minute mark. Now, you'd think they'll go a bit deeper this year. Again, good, really good contested mark there. But this is the danger period now for the Giants. They battle really hard. No scoreboard just to show for it. 1 point. But they're only 15 points down. What they can't afford to do now,
get blown away by 6,
5 or 6 goals in the next 5 or 6 minutes. So this will see how much their fitness levels have improved over the last sort of 6 or 8 months in the off-season.
Moore moved over to, as you can see, the big sausage eater, Mummy.
2 behind so far. Can he get closer? Third time lucky? He can. And the Swans have a sizable margin now, 21 points. Grundy. Bolton.
Touched. Just going to look at Mumford here when he leads. Now watch this. They're all looking to him, see how Tom Bugg's coming over, and he points in because he knows he's dragged the traffic. And see the GWS player creeping in from the bottom of the screen. It created a real vacuum towards him and then points elsewhere.
Reed,
clever.
60 from goal. He's got Goods in the square.
He's going to outsize Curly Hampton too.
Happy to have it one-on-one. Goods is a bit of a wrestle, a bit touchy, a bit feely, and there it is.
Yeah, tough ask there. Tough ask for Curly Hampton. One-on-one. I mean, what's Hampton doing? 5'10", 5'11"?
Oh, no, he's about 6'1", but he's your flanker 6'1". He's a true flanker.
And he's claiming that Goods grabbed him by the jumper, which he probably did.
Yeah, probably did. If you're that size, you want to initiate contact so you know where the lighter man is, so he doesn't jump against you, and you just use your body size against him. That's the equation.
Close to goal. So it's just 50-50 from there. But he'd be happy to be on Adam Goods, I reckon. Swans have got 4.
Giles has pushed forward into the forward line on the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, to try
an in-ruck.
Yeah, give them a little bit more strength and height down there. Cornelio gives them an opportunity to get involved. Giles certainly knows his way around goal. He showed that last year. So it's probably not a bad idea. Cameron able to paddle it. And here's Toby Greene from a very tight spot. What a kick. That might generate a bit of enthusiasm and run.
It's a really good effort. I'm just trying to work out, Dean, did he start in the middle of the ground? If he did, it's a super effort. And as you see, we go back. Look at him here. Bit of a fumble there. Teddy Richards has a good crack at it. Good tackle, good pressure. And keeps his feet. Really important. Not a skill, but it's really important for young players watching out there. You've got to keep your feet. And he does that really well. And he's picked that up and kicked that from a nice angle. So worked really hard from the centre bounce to put their first goal on the board.
Looks like he is inside 50,
Yeah,
Toby
he
Greene.
is
So
now, yeah.
he was obviously clamped upon by Ryan O'Keefe, and they've made the move just to try and free him up a little bit.
O'Keefe has gone to Treloar now.
Yep, Pike, guiding force down to Kennedy, who they
Stands up through everything.
just couldn't hold on to him in the end.
He's a bull, isn't he? See, O'Keefe
There's
died
another
forward
one,
there.
That would have been paid, I reckon, a couple of weeks ago. It's good that they're not.
Agreed.
Whitfield to half forward. Hanbury try and sweep again through Treloar. This is Melcheski. He was running out of room. McGlynn, there's so many players. Oh, that's close to holding the ball that you've got to beat if you're going to go back into the traffic like that. Treloar, Richards, Canelio had a chance. He gets his man high on Cameron. Yeah, high. But he paid the mark. I think.
He did pay the mark.
Pay the mark.
Moons, the hand signal, I think, was paid the mark down there.
I think he paid the mark. I think he had enough on it. What do you think he does here, Derm?
Oh, he'll go to the banana. Yeah, he's...
Got no right foot.
Oh, I think he's confident enough on the banana. He'll come out a little bit.
So Jeremy Cameron,
That's it.
superstar. And they've started with a couple of goals. And sends it back out to the wing. Brogan and Smith. There's a bit of a mismatch in size, but Richards initially spoiling. Suddenly thought I might be able to mark this. Jeremy
Gotta come to
Cameron,
it, Patton.
he glances up, and he does come to it. And it's 50.
Oh,
Ray.
Ray's
he
back.
was relishing
He's
that.
back.
That's not 50.
That's
It was in his natural running action. He
Yeah.
put the hand on the back. I know we saw a couple of them in the... I tell you what, he knows it's not 50. He's given him 40.
yeah. Got to get some air time, that Ray.
He's a colossal kid, and he's a colossal kick when he really nails them.
I stood behind him at training during the week, and he had a couple of set shots, and you could hear the air come out of the little grommet.
Wait for it. Thump. You can hear it. It's a big roost, and it is a goal. There's the future.
Yeah, well, that was Cameron getting it, hitting Patton on the lead, and you mentioned that's the future, Hutto, because they're both haven't had big games today, but they've started to get in the game this quarter, kicked a goal each now.
That's 3 in a row.
Yeah, it is. There's a beautiful, nice kick lace out. And that's, there's John Longmire.
You're not coaching anymore, Rosie. You can say what you really think. You almost pulled out there from the coach's etiquette, didn't you?
Yeah.
That leg of Jonathan
Yeah.
Patton weighs about 35 kilos.
He's a big kid, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
What a weapon it's going to be be able to take a mark 55 metres out and know you're in the ballpark. Centre clearance is 7 to 1, so that's been a dominant factor. Treloar again continues to accumulate, and they've kicked off the 3 goals of this quarter, and all of a sudden it's only 7 points the difference.
Yeah, it's been a terrific effort from the Giants at the start of this quarter to get right back in the game. Just getting their hands on the ball, getting it a bit outside. Now we saw the first quarter was a real contested game of football, but now both teams are sort of getting it outside. I think their ball use going forward has been a lot better in the second quarter as well.
Canelio's been very good in the centre of the ground in this second quarter also.
Shield works it back. Here's Greene, a little bit of freedom to design the pass personally for Jonathan Patton.
Dermy, the big difference right now, going into the Giants forward line, they're actually giving each other some space. How many times do you see Cameron, Patton, and whoever the resting ruckman is just fly against each other? This quarter, they've actually isolated, and that's exactly what Sydney want. They want to compete, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. You isolate them, you give yourself your better chance to get these easier goals.
So Patton for 2 in a row, and to cut the margin to just 1 point. What an effort! Well, let's just find out a bit more about what the coach, or at least the assistant coach, Leon Cameron, thinks about Jonathan Patton and his development. Can you lip read them?
Yeah, he's a big kid. But the ball is getting in there with on a better standard now.
Astonishing effort this from GWS. 4 consecutive goals, and Jonathan Patton has supplied 2 of them. Jeremy Cameron 1. Exciting times for the Giants. Back in the middle, big heavy contact on Giles too.
Now, they're scoring because it's going in there in better fashion now. See, once again, only one's going for the mark. Nice little nudge underneath it. That'll work for the GWS.
Well, it could well have been a free kick. Smith, he could put them in front. And you know what? He has!
Yeah, it's just practice. Hours and hours of practice.
Pike to Kennedy to Hoskin Elliott. Parker, and they're inside. Davis, who's hoping, looking, thinking maybe. Eventually Greene to Spatstov by McGlynn. And then Bolton arrived. It was a perfect timing, but that is in the back, surely.
In the back.
It is. It's unfortunate because it was a great timing of the run and tackle.
It was unfortunate. It really was. And that's the difficulty when you're trying to run guys now down to him. So there's not a lot.
The one thing I'll say about that is that Tom Scully let Jude Bolton run off him to be that creator. He
didn't move
had to
early
go
enough.
with him. See him coming in from behind. He was wishing, hoping it was going to come in his direction. But Swans had hands on. He had to be closer and goal side.
So Jude Bolton very careful from there.
He's a good kick, Jude.
Tails off, but it's through. And the Swans are back in front.
Kick the drop punt and accept that you're going to get a bit of contact, and your forwards, your teammates will love you forever.
Sumner. Here's Callum Ward. Hasn't done it. Hasn't had a touch in this quarter so far. Now he has. Bolton. Gave it straight back, and then Kennedy. A bit of service. Goods. McVeigh versus 4, and can you believe it? It fell right into his lap.
There's good body work though. Really good early body work. I think it was on Shields from memory, but it was really good. And a kick from Adam Goods that was in the dangerous spot. A lowish kick that was able to sort of float over a couple of Giants players, but the body work was very good from McVeigh.
They really need to put up the shutters here. I mean, right now GWS believe in themselves. They've got a sniff, and they believe that they can hang in there with them.
Well, they've steadied a fraction, the Swans, with consecutive goals.
He's just called Jeremy Canyon, but that's fantastic play for a young. I know he's captain, but he's only a young captain. Really good play from that little thing, but he's just made sure that his position's been covered.
Now he's going to be tested perhaps down there, Jeremy Cameron, because the Swans are going forward smartly through Kieran Jack. And the goal umpire leans back as the ball went over his head. Gillum comes away and tries, but fails to hit Giles, and instead watches as O'Keefe takes the mark and gets ready to loop another kick high up to the square. Pike just too big, too strong, and too good on that occasion.
4 on 1.
What a terrific effort. You talk about terrific effort, Kieran Jack, which is absolutely right. This is the most underrated story of football last year, is Mike Pike playing in a grand final and playing very well and being able to take that mark. Who would have thought a Canadian rugby player would be able to take a contested mark like that in front of goals? It's a great story. Extraordinary, and the story continues as he pops it through, and the Swans have been able to restore order.
Yeah, last 7 minutes, fatigue's really set in.
Yeah, they'll certainly be looking forward to the break. I mean, 2.5 minutes. Moon's touched on it before. Here it is here. Just really look at that. You see bottom of screen. And a good thing here, he's making ground. Sorry, he's clearing ground for himself. He's sort of pushing Gillum back, pushing him back, and then runs, launches. And that's a mark versus 3. That's a very, very good mark. And shows a good awareness of the game of AFL football now. It shows how much he's learnt.
You're spot on, Rosie. It's a really good mark, but also the other 2 blokes flying in second and third were fairly polite.
Very.
They can do marvellous things at that Swans Academy, can't they, Rosie?
I can't take credit for that one.
19 points the margin now. Jack hacks it out. Parker, and they're in again. Reed can't quite get on the end of it, but Adam Goods can. Adam Goods can. He can do just about anything, but on this occasion it's a behind.
Clip the post.
I thought that was a goal.
I don't know, I was just cracking up, Rosie.
It must have. You were getting very excited. But yeah, it must have just clipped the post. And here we see it again. And a little touch there from Ward was really important. And just whacked the post.
Very annoying.
Ricocheted off.
Yep.
So 2 minutes remaining now in the first half. Been entertaining.
Oh, That's a horrible
calamity or two, and that's as bad as it gets, unfortunately.
Lucky Clayman backed away. The umpire called play on, but he went to the boundaries.
Well, he didn't trip him up, you said. What it did was stop him kicking the ball, though, didn't it?
Gary Feeler. Might be feeling your way up the country next week.
Okay. Jack kicked it back to the middle. Comes to an end there, though. Davis. Cameron.
Overcooked it.
And it comes to Sumner, who likes it off the boot.
in.
And Reed couldn't quite get there. Oh, that was high, I thought. No.
Dermy, just watching Teddy down here, he has got a little bit of a limp, and I'd suspect that's just from the ankle that he had from last year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a bit of a carry-on from that.
Jeremy Cameron just feeling the knuckles of that right hand, which he gave a punch into the fence with when he dropped that mark. Good swing.
Oh, what about that from a manoeuvre? They reckon it's touch, but it's not. It's a goal.
Yeah, great agility, Hutto, there from just spun on a dime as the ball. It was really made. Swans made something out of absolutely nothing there, but I suppose that's why a lot of coaches don't mind those forward 50 stoppages. We can see here, Pikey just grabs out of the ruck, just smother. Look at this, spins right around, and that's just pure talent to be able to take that ball, spin around on the right foot, and kick a snap goal. So the Swans needed that, but created something out of nothing.
So
Jeremy Cameron.
Here's the punch again. And then,
He's got his hand on it.
I tell you, if you're a coach, you'd be nice and dirty if he broke his hand then, missed 6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, great tap.
Ward just trying to
good tackle.
barge his way through, but there's no outcome for him. Scully, he's just had a terrific third quarter. Bangs it up again. Away from Giles. Smith. Cameron's out there.
See, he's so good at when the ball's on the ground, following it up, Jeremy Cameron.
And he doesn't mind getting to his partner in crime either. And Treloar's on the end. He's had a terrific game as well.
And O'Keefe and Kennedy are trying to work together.
Hampton.
See the sidestep ability of Hampton there. He's beautiful the way he does that, but there's certain areas of his game he lets himself down with.
Yeah, look, he is the sort of kid you think's going to have really good composure at some stage and think he could be that real running defender that can come out and spot up targets. But at this stage, he's just probably a little bit young in his career and he's a little bit panicky at the moment.
Richards, he sets sail again. Oh, from the side!
Oh.
Spectacular! The Fosby flop over the top.
That is a great mark
Reed.
and a great landing, Hutto. You're right. Absolutely spectacular mark.
There was no room a second ago. The last contest that went in, he got bodied and never got into the contest above the pack in the air. This time he got a clean run at it. The one thing you can't do to Reed is just give him a clean run because he's got a great pair of hands.
Terrific mark and goal.
And didn't go back with him hard enough. I mean, that's first game footballer as opposed to a seasoned, hardened AFL player.
Mumford, Parker, Cornelio. Oh, was that dropping? No, it wasn't. And that's a goal anyway. Jude Bolton, the old stager, puts it through.
What do you want him?
He doesn't initiate the movement. He reacts to the players up the field. He'll get the hang of that, and he'll get better at that. But that's just one thing that stands out at the moment.
Lachie Whitfield, 12 disposals on debut. The #1 draft picks, done a couple of impressive things. No doubt learning all the time. O'Keefe, they're outnumbered back there.
Oh, mark it.
Could have Davis, but
Well, if you get your 2 hands to it like a spoil, you got to mark that.
McVeigh sort of trying to lock it in and tackle at the same time.
So I remember, Roosie, you were coming from behind. You used to try and mark him.
McGlean, he just summed it up beautifully. That's classic small forward.
But in all seriousness, Dan, that's why I didn't mind defenders marking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because you look what Davis does here. If you can get your 2 hands to it, you've got to mark that football because you don't mark the ball and all of a sudden McGlynn kicks the goal. So some coaches sort of say, no, you got to spoil as a defender. I completely disagree. If you can get 2 hands to the ball, a la Leo Barry in the 2005 grand final, that ball goes to ground in the 2005 grand final and there's every chance the Eagles win that game of football.
Summed it up very well, Ben McGlynn. Good player, very unfortunate. He got injured at the wrong time of the year. Would have been heartbreaking for him. And a ripping bloke.
Josh Kennedy had 23 contested possessions. The record is 30, by the way, by Andrew Swallow a couple of years ago. Taylor Adams in there. As Ward got it to Greene. Quick thinking, quick kicking. But again, Grundy was terrific. They gather on the wing. There's plenty of Giants there who should be able to dictate terms here, Plowman. Couldn't quite hit the target, but Ward good enough. Treloar got inside, and so did Shields. And he has.
He's a good kick. He's competent.
Yeah, good response. Goal for the Swans. Could have easily opened the floodgates, but it just shows you the resilience that the Giants have got.
Treloar,
Shields there.
Treloar's handball here couldn't hit the target, but he just knew he had to put it, because had he gone for the target directly, it would have got smothered. Clever enough to put it into space so he could run onto it. Really clever handball by Adam Treloar. And as I say, Shields very competent as a player.
Another 20-year-old, averaged 19 disposals in his 12 games last year. Another pressure player as well.
How they looking, Moons? Are they? Is there? I mean, they're all looking tired, but is there absolute complete fatigue in them, or have they still got a bit in the tank?
No, I still think they've still got a little bit in the tank here. I'm just watching Moore. I didn't quite know that Moore had that much pace either, Derm. I was watching him in the third quarter. He took off after Goodsey or someone. Geez, he's got some pace. But no, they look okay down here at the moment. But I think, like Rizzy's been saying all night, it's the last 5, maybe probably 10 minutes into this quarter where you'll probably see them really drop off.
Brogan. Well, Roberts-Thompson got bowled over, and that meant that Giles is... Oh, so it'll be 50 now.
Oh, ran through it. It's against... Is it against Reece Shaw?
Yep.
Too close. Even though Giles kind of swung out there.
And Reece was actually running through with another player as well.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting one, that.
Razor.
Because you're right, it looked like
Giles
swung around.
Yeah.
Just watching in the coach's box there, guys. Johnny Longmire's not too happy at the moment, Rizzy.
No, I'm sure he wouldn't be too happy.
I heard Ray then say Reece Shaw ran past and ran through the protected area. You have to be within, what is it? It's 3 metres now. You have to be within your opponent if he runs through the protected area and you're following him. He appeared to be within 3.
Yeah, he did, definitely.
He popped it through. It's back to 4 goals.
It's just, and this is what we talked about three-quarter time. It's just a team that's going to have that little bit of composure moving forward. Both teams look like they're pushing up the ground but unable to get back inside forward 50, Derm. So generally, the last player back is always an opposition player.
Well, it's got to find a different method, don't they, to get there at the moment. It's whatever they're doing isn't working. Jetta, that's a little better.
Yeah.
A lot better, actually.
Well, one of the few times that the Swans have lowered their eyes going forward and actually hit a target. Generally, most of their forward 50 entries have been long bombs to the top of the square. So, Jetta, that's why I like it in Jetta's hands, because generally he makes good decisions and he can hit a target.
Moons?
I was just saying Hanbury was just sprinting to the goal square there, but Jack just didn't bother to have a look around. He's obviously very confident backing himself here.
I think he's A, confident, B, wanted a bit of a break. So he got both, and he went back and laid on it and put it through. Now Hampton versus Parker. Duck back, slipped through.
So he can do that beautifully. Now he's got to sum up where he kicks it and to best advantage.
Shield fends off Armstrong, gets himself into the clear.
Yeah, that's a ripping kick.
Patton in his sights.
That is a really, really good kick.
Well, I say, he's got the ball. He's very competent for a young man. Shields, he works hard in the gym. He works hard on his fitness. And he is, I call him a really competent kick. He's not naturally fluent. He's not naturally quick of the drop of the ball to boot, but he just gets it done, and he's very, very competent.
Jeez, he's a good kick for a guy.
Yeah, everything, small steps, mate. Everything's in line.
Let's have a listen to what Leon Cameron has to say about his great young charge.
Yeah, look, it's his first real pre-season. It's been well documented about his knee injury when he first arrived at the footy club, and so he stepped in and had 4 or 5 months of really good training. With his progression, he's such a big boy. He's going to need another 1 or 2 good pre-seasons, before he actually hits, the top of his game. But we couldn't be, pleased with the way he's approached the pre-season, approached the NAB Cup.
Jonathan Patton, he's learned a lot, but he's still been able to contribute, even though he's lowered his colours overall.
Well, I think the good thing about it, Hutto, if you're a beautiful kick for goal, you don't need a lot of possessions. If he comes out of this game kicking 3 points or 1 goal, 2, you say that Grundy slaughtered him. Yeah. But the fact that he's kicked 3 goals means he's able to contribute to his team and is a valuable player, even though he's lost most one-on-one body contests.
Free kick to Reid.
Well, if he gets one more, 1 a quarter, 4 goals a game, and you're an invaluable type of forward.
Mumford just quick enough to get it to Goods, who strolls on in.
Yeah, the big forwards has really worked for Sydney today, Derm. The big forwards of Pike and Mumford, even though I think it was Pike didn't mark that football, but they've caused real dramas down there. For a Sydney team that's ball use hasn't been great today, but here it is again, great contest, and the crumb from the big fella. So yeah, the combination of Pike, Mumford, both have had really, really good games today, but it's been a really important role they've played and created and kicked multiple goals.
What have you made of Adam Goods' performance today, Dern?
Once again, he used the word competent. I don't think Goodsy's slipped himself completely, but every time he gets the ball, it's phenomenal with a bloke such as Adam Goods, the size he is and the pace he's retained at his age. It's Dustin Fletcher-like. He just shouldn't be allowed to keep that much pace at that age, where is he?
Yeah, he's still very, very agile and very, very quick.
And here's Plowman escorting it over.
Most blokes who are 100 kilos, 6'4.5", 6'5", by 26, 27, they've been bashed around enough that pace starts to come off. If anything, over the last 2 years, I reckon he's learned how to utilise his pace better. Now that Dane Rampe threw that in on true centre wing, and it went 7 metres to one team's advantage.
Well, last year was the first time Adam Goods didn't reach 20 games in his career. He did play 19. Kicked 37 goals, 19.
Played one really important one at the end, though.
Oh, he did, yeah. Unbelievable for him to stay on and played a critical role in the grand final.
Smith, there's a shove on Giles.
Yeah, that's a push no matter what rule they are. That's a good old-fashioned shove.
So Giles. Not a lot going on down there in terms of players moving, and Sumner should have goal, and he has.
Again, just a simple, tired error, and the young fella, he's done really well today. He's taken advantage of some skill errors, but he's also played really well in his own right. We can see it here. Shaw just a clean drop there at the end of the game. Clean drop and a fall over, and the young fella, look, he's certainly got an innate ability to know where the ball is going, and it's been a really productive game for him.
At this point in time, it is the best quarter of football statistically that GWS have had against the Swans. 4 goals, 2 to 3 goals, but coupled with taking the foot off the accelerator, the Sydney Swans, a month less pre-season under their belt. You expect them to come off the pace a little bit with 30 minutes to go. But well done by GWS. They're sticking to it. And if they can win the quarter, the last quarter, they go into next round with saying, well, we matched it with the reigning premier as we saw the game out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game has probably panned out almost as you'd expected. Now, the Swans definitely underdone, definitely were going to struggle to run the game out, and the Giants were definitely going to be fitter from last year, and it was just a matter of how much the Giants had improved in their fitness level. We know they've got good skills, we know they've got good young players, and the scary thing for the other opposition as well is the Swans are going to improve significantly, obviously, over the course of the season.
Chesty with the probing ball for Hanbury. No one in the square, so he knows that if he can get the angles,
downfield. He's going to take it from where he is because he kicked it out in the full.
Downfield means you're going to have to take it from the third row of the stand. Hutto?
Yeah.
Clever though, just worked it to his advantage, keeping it in.
Yeah.
It's Taylor Adams, the sub, who's just got a bit of...
He's got a bit of size in him, Taylor Adams, for like a 5'9", 5'10" type bloke. He's really powerfully put together. He's on the mark there.
Got a bit of aggression stored up for the day when you're the sub too. You come on and you just want to hit anything that moves to some degree, I think, and let it all out. So, Daniel Hanbury got some lovely encouragement there from the GWS supporter behind him. Tough angle from there to try and work it back. It's not a bad effort. Crowd of 23,690 here at ANZ Stadium.
So, actually, that boy on screen right there, we look at certain players and we say, when they've hung around long enough, we say, oh, that player's an A grade, that's elite. Now, in that scheme of things, he probably hasn't been on the scene long enough, but I guarantee everyone who coaches against Daniel Hanbury says, that boy's elite. That young man there is an A grade.
Well, his grand final was A grade, that's for sure. He had a super grand final and really elevated himself again.
His whole final series really was terrific, wasn't it? Back to back. Trust the left boot to hit the man on the chest in Gillum.
See, now that this whole wing is wide open and they just haven't got anyone with enough run in the leg still to hit that wing. Now, Patton makes a lead to that side, but it's all choked up, so they tend to go back the other way. That's what they, as a key forward, is gut running late in the game. You hit that wing and that keeps coming on and you're able to turn it and go on again. Smith and Shield. And see the development really, can't you? Smith, Shield and Canelio just gained that extra 5 or 10% on last year, which will make a big difference in games. McGlynn just had time to size it up and get it right, he does. And the Swans get a late one, and it's his second.
An injury like Gary Rampe, injuries are part of the game. Supportive of the new rule, but let's just make sure we're always protecting the guy going for the ball.
And that's where it will end, with the Sydney Swans winning by 30 points. The reigning premiers begin the new season with a really hard-fought victory over their new neighbours in Sydney. If there was a battle of the bridge, it's been won by the Swans tonight by 30 points, 16-10-106 to 11-10-76 in front of 23,500 on a warm Sydney afternoon and early evening. And they showed some signs of fatigue as the game went on both sides. It was a hard-fought victory, Rosie. Yeah.